Hello, everyone. This is your Gaming Forever Week in Review podcast for August 4th, 2013. I am, as always, Gamer Wolf, and today we have a Charky.
Happy Simcoe Day to all of our Canadian listeners.
And we have Enigma.
Hey guys.
Yeah, small group for this week. So what's been up on your guys' side of things?
So I finished a playthrough of Dusty Revenge, and review is submitted. So
Cool.
I'll admit, like there's some stuff I really like about it, and there's some stuff that kind of drove me up the wall about it. I don't want to say too
What's your
much.
overall impression? Yay or nay?
See, I'm on the fence about yay or nay, to be honest, because it's like, at the same time, I realized this was made by a small group of people in Singapore. They were basically animators. Before they made Dusty Revenge, like, this is their first game. Before that, they were just animators, and they made flash animation for all kinds of clients, which, gives you some nice background on PD's design studio, and that really shows because the game looks great. Looks super fantastic, and plays all right. There's some things that could have been better, as most notably some crashes.
Oh dear.
And at the same time, I realized, this is probably like the best they can do, but it's like you can't really be forgiving on every single thing when you have games like Binding of Isaac that exists, that was made by like three dudes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Designer, a programmer, and a guy who makes music.
Yep, basically, that was it. And so, yeah, I mean, you'll see in my review of that. I'm also playing Rise of the Triad, because I'm also doing a review of that. That game, like, the first couple of levels, I was like, Game of the Year. Oh my god. I would say, like, my enthusiasm was, like, through the roof when I started playing it, and then, as I played through it, it was just more, I'm still really stoked that this game exists, and I'm really loving the experience it's given me, but I'm being more realistic now, so it has not deterred me from it, and I think, if anything, the game...
So we're still overall positive.
Yeah, and I think it's like, Rise of the Triad is really, really faithful as a remake, and almost to the point where it's like, yeah, I remember this being fucking hard back in the States too, because the game is kind of challenging, and for the same reasons that, those shooters back in the mid-90s were also challenging. And then you turn on God mode and you don't even have to think anymore.
True enough. It's just pretty much just let all your anger out.
And for, our demographic, I witnessed dog mode in this game.
Oh god.
Awesome.
So what about you, Enigma?
I have been playing a lot of RPGs of late. I have just finished, and Sharky knows this, I talked to him about it last night. I just finished the Throne of Ball expansion for Baldur's Gate 2. Overall, I enjoyed Baldur's Gate 2, although if I had to choose, I would pick Planescape Torment over that game every single time. It's a solid game, but it has a lot of small things that really irk me. And this kind of has to go with being a D&D based game. For example, a lot of the lockpicks, as I play as a thief, a lot of the locks in the game are basically unpickable because of story reasons. Like, for example, instead of just going, you see a maze you have to go through, but you also see this hidden door, because you can see if you have a high enough thief skill, but you can't pick it, so you have to go through the maze instead of doing the obvious thing, which is skip the maze, it's the next story bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
And
still...
there's also the issue of enemies in the game that are way too eager to confuse, paralyze, and charm your party members, which is very annoying when you combine that with the fact that you must gather your party before venturing forth.
Damn.
The thing with those games, I still remember back in the time when those games were coming out, and you would have people who were still, die hard on pen and paper, and still weren't totally sold on the idea of like computer RPGs, because it's like, oh, then you're just doing what the computer wants you to do, and it's like, isn't that the same thing with like a pen and paper game? Like if if Enigma's experience was a pen and paper game and some dude telling him all this stuff, you know, I could see Enigma just arguing with the guy, no, why can't I open the chest? My stat is this high. It's like, story reasons, you can't open the chest.
Like, GM would be able to say, okay, open the chest, and then work around that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, you know, yeah, I mean, playing all these games, it's you know,
I mean,
to some
this
extent.
is the inherent like problem with using advanced D&D as your rule set.
Yeah.
Yeah, sad but true there.
So it's something that you kind of have to work around in a way, but in other ways it facilitates a role-playing experience.
Might want to increase the Skype volume a bit. Okay.
I say this because Planescape again did the same thing so much better by letting you do mostly talking if you wanted to. You can get through almost all Planescape by just talking to people if you wanted to.
And it's worth noting that. Oh, sorry.
And also, Planescape
Oh.
fuse the freaking status elements. There were only like a couple that were really annoying, and they rarely happened that often.
I think I know what happened.
Yeah, it's worth noting that Planescape and Baldur's Gate had different developers.
It's also worth noting that Baldur's Gate came out first, or Planescape came out first, then Baldur's Gate 2 came out.
Huh? Yeah, still though, I mean, you wouldn't want to put up with some guy as the DM telling you, no, you can't open the door, you gotta gather your party first.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate 2 is basically a bitchy DM that wants you to do everything their way, whereas Planescape's like, okay, do this, we'll work around that somehow. On other news, I just finished playing Evoland today. It's a pretty interesting little indie game.
Oh yeah, it is.
Those of you who aren't aware, it's kind of like an RPG, except as the game progresses, you unlock more and more mechanics. Like at the start, you only have the right key to move. Then you get the right key, you get a chest to give you the left key to move. Then you unlock 2D movement. Then you unlock colors. You basically go from like a GBA-esque RPG to like a 3D, like PlayStation 1 era RPG.
Mm-hmm.
All the while just kind of paradising like all of the either RPG contrivances or just series in general. Like I've heard there's some pretty funny nods to like Diablo and stuff like that.
There is a Diablo / Torchlight level, which is pretty fun, except the way they coded it, the game has a hard time handling a bunch of mooks in a single area.
That is something that's got to be kind of weird about that.
There is some slowdown.
Like, you have to wonder, like, what kind of engine allows for them to, like, okay, now it's going to be 2D, now it's going to be 3D, now it's going to be overhead, now it's going to be third person, like, all this crazy shit. Like,
now it's going to be Torchlight. But yeah, it's also a pretty short game. You can beat it in a single day. Like if it's only 5 or 6 hours.
Yep.
And I beat it with 95% of the game complete. So it's not.
I think the game is only like what, $10 on Steam.
Yeah, I mean the value fits
the GOG
length.
version. Yeah, I use the GOG version because DRM free.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with me and Rogue Legacy. Like I bought Rogue Legacy on GOG.
Yeah. I just started Breath of Death 7, so I'm enjoying that so far.
Oh yeah, you're in for a good time. I mean, it's definitely humorous as fuck.
Save the World, so I expect to enjoy this game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that world is some of the funniest shit I've seen.
Yeah, but it has like one of the most epic final boss music. Just some. I can't help but like listen to that goddamn final boss theme to Cthulhu Saves the World like a lot. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I especially love like the main hero in Breath of Death 7 and how flippant that guy is towards like everything.
Yeah. But
he is the player's mouthpiece in a way, like thinking
yes.
what you'd be thinking in that situation if you were that guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
God. As for me, I've been playing a mix of stuff. I've been revisiting Minecraft, actually more just playing one of the mods, the mod versions, Hexit, which is it's fairly interesting with the fact that they add like several different mobs, and also there's boss monsters that can just fuck shit up.
I haven't gone back to Minecraft mostly because like I felt pretty content with like the big like 2-story wood cabin that I made.
I never played
like,
Minecraft.
And like I even made like I even got the 360 version because a friend of mine wanted to play it with me. And then like I got all the achievements in the game and my buddy hasn't touched it, so it's like, yeah, I'm done.
What else? I've been going back to Tales of the Abyss on the 3DS, and PC-wise, I've been mainly just playing whatever, kind of. If it's not, if it's not Minecraft, I've been playing quite a bit of Killing Floor, revisiting that. If it's not that, then looking at what mods I can put into Left 4 Dead 2. And I do recommend one mod right now, one character mod. Take a look at it. It's an entire werewolf mod. It turns all the modders only have 5 of the characters set up for werewolf skins. They're still working on 3 others, but they plan on doing the entire cast
For what
as
game?
werewolves. This is for Left 4 Dead 2. If you just take a look in the Steam Workshop and do a search for werewolf, you'll find it. I recommend it. It looks fucking awesome, though. They also kind of use they use a bit of the armor and stuff from Mass Effect 2. I kind of go like interesting, but nah, I can work around that.
Still no one will give a shit to play as Rochelle.
Exactly.
I play as Nick.
Yeah, same here.
God damn.
All right.
Turkey.
I was gonna say, so do I.
Wow.
Well, I occasionally play Ellis, but I mostly go for Nick.
I'll sometimes play Coach.
Yeah. All right.
Rochelle is always the guy that came in fourth.
Yeah, it's the last one to show up. All right. Well, this week we're a little bit light on the heavy news stories, but we got quite a bit of stuff to mention. So right off the bat, let's start off with, of course, Microsoft. And Microsoft has talked about their revamped multiplayer matchmaking called Smart Match. What they said is that if you're concerned getting into an online match as soon as possible, Smart Match is pretty much where that's all going to come together, freeing the whole waiting around in the lobby, just waiting for a game to happen. Matchmaking will just kick in as soon as the second the game is being set up. Xbox.com will also suggest things like reading Reddit on the console and the Snap Mode functionality that allows you to do 2 things simultaneously. And once a match is finalized, you'll actually get a pop-up notification, kind of like what League does. I mean,
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Good idea.
Yeah, it's kind of like what League or say Smite does. I mean, you can minimize the damn thing while you're waiting for a game to happen. You can just browse the net and whatever, and as soon as the match is found, either the whole window pops right back up saying game found, or you get this little little thing in the corner saying match found.
Smite was really good about that. I can't remember if Dota 2 does the same thing or if not something similar.
I'm not quite certain since I don't exactly touch Dota 2.
I've fooled around with it, and I know there is a queue system. I haven't played it recently, but yeah, Dota 2 was that game's really popular for a reason. It's I know people shit on it because everybody's popular at MOBA, whatever, and it's it's actually a really decent game. It's pretty well put together, but yeah, I mean, I know it has some similar features like that, so.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, when you think about it, what do you do when you're waiting for a match to load up on a console game? You get out your computer and you start going on the internet for a little bit until it's ready. So this is basically cutting out the middleman. It's okay, you can just play online, do something online while you're waiting on our system. All in one.
It used to be. Yeah, for me, it used to be pull up my DS and then maybe play, I don't know, fucking Pokemon, whatever.
Or listen to some music or something in the meantime.
Yeah, nowadays it's like I'll pull up my phone, see what's going on, and then game's up. So
Yep. Yeah. So this, again, this is kind of taking advantage of the fact that you could pretty much switch away from the game and whatnot.
Although I'm not going to come on the smart match system until like we actually figure out how useful their algorithms are.
Yes. Yeah. We have to really see
that's
this in
something that
action.
we really have to see in practical tests in real world scenarios before we can actually comment on how good or bad it will be.
Yeah, but like as I was saying again, this is kind of also more along the lines of the fact that what we saw when Xbox One was first shown. The whole you can swap to TV and swap back to the game and whatnot. I mean, it's just showing their
and again,
they're putting up
that
another
stuff
avenue for
wasn't
it.
Bad. It was just the way they handled their PR made it seem like that was the focus to the detriment of everything else.
Yep.
I can't help but like imagine somebody wants to get into fucking Halo 5 and waiting for a match like so fucking long, they decide to watch a TV show, fall into a hole of like Storage Wars episodes, and then forget they were waiting in a game.
The achievement for watching Storage Wars.
Yeah. Then their game pops up like, oh shit, I forgot about this. Like why do I see that happening?
Yeah, that could happen. I mean, at least depending on this kind of goes into the second story we have for Microsoft. Where in the fact that player reputation will actually friggin' matter with the Xbox One, unlike the way it kind of didn't matter on the 360. Michael Dunn, the Microsoft Smart Match Senior Program Manager, said that pretty much the Xbox 360's approach was more of a soft barrier, and the goal for the new reputation system is to make sure you're playing with people you can have a conversation with. Now, he said that even though there will be a avoid me crowd blocked off from other multiplayer segments, but before it gets to that point, Microsoft will actually be sending cautionary messages to the offenders in an attempt to get players to change their behavior. There will also be an anti-griefing system set up, in the fact that it's not going to take just like a few people saying that they want to avoid you.
It's a very long-term thing.
Yeah. It's
you
not
have to be like a dick bag for months.
Yeah, you had to get like hundreds and you had to get literally thousands of avoids in order to be put into that avoiding pool.
And then, no one will give a shit because it'll be like, well, I'll have my headset on because I'm only talking to friends and no one else. And then I only play these games with friends and no one else, so who gives a shit? And then...
true enough. But, I mean,
at
least...
we're going to only really see it kick into effect after a few months after its release, once people start getting reputations more formalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, on the 360, it's like regardless of whether you upvote or downvote people, that star rating still goes up. Like, what the fuck makes that go down?
I know, seriously. But, at least this is kind of a step in, like, a more right direction, I kind of feel. Rather than basically the fallacy that was how the Xbox 360 kind of reporting and avoiding system was.
And this is
because if this
in detail until a few months after we see it's truly in effect.
True, I do agree. But hey, if this can reduce the amount of fucking bad, foul-mouthed 12-year-olds I can run into in multiplayer games, that this is fine with me. Okay.
I don't know. If Microsoft wants a head start, just point those guys towards fatuglyOrslutty.com.
For someone to just make a new Xbox Live account and then just keep doing it.
I think they'll probably, if it gets around to that point, if they'll at least look into possibly IP banning.
You can't stop that. There's
no. Yeah, you're never gonna have
or just block the console via the console ID.
I don't think. That far would be a good idea.
I don't know.
It's like you're never going to totally have a cap on that. But
this is a good way to stifle trolls, though you really can't truly stop them.
Yeah.
This is probably
True.
this is probably one of the best solutions I've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a Sony fanboy, so me saying that about Microsoft should mean something.
Yeah. All right, and last bit of Microsoft news: self-publishing will not just be available on the Xbox One. Next month, it will be available. Well, actually, this month it will be available on the Xbox 360. Today, or on the 29th of July, Polygon picked up another surprising twist of Microsoft, saying that they allow self-publishing on the Xbox 360. Quoting Microsoft as saying, "We have just announced that indie developers like Farsight can now self-publish on Xbox Live Arcade instead of being required to find publishers for their games. This means that we can bring the Pinball Arcade back to the 360 ourselves, and also opens the door to an Xbox One version of the Pinball Arcade in the future."
Huh?
I'll be honest. I
No,
was shocked
this
when I heard it.
this came from Farsight Studios themselves, because the story with Farsight Studios is the fact that they ran into some hard times to the point where they had to forfeit the publishing license from Crave, and due to that, they just could not bring back Pinball Arcade. Pinball Arcade was completely nixed out of the Xbox Live Arcade library.
I have to admit, when I heard the story about Xbox 360 being a self-publishing platform, I was pleasantly shocked.
I know. I mean,
Yeah, that's.
I mean, especially with it being this late in the system's life cycle.
It's
I mean,
a smart move, though, you have to admit.
Oh, I do agree. I do agree on that. I mean, it really this really shows Microsoft's just begging and pleading for these indie devs to give them another chance.
Good job, Microsoft. You're making a lot of smart decisions right now. I don't know if it's too little or too late, but it's definitely welcome.
I mean, anybody on like 360, of course, is gonna make it seem like, yeah, too little, too late on 360. But it's like, well, at least Xbox One, as far as because that thing is only like months away. So I mean, we'll see. So
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't expect them to do it on 360. That was not something I saw coming at all.
yeah, props.
true. Yeah,
Tip of my hat if I wore a hat.
if
right
it wore
now.
a hat, yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is definitely gotta be just. This is also, it's gonna help. Help people go towards the Xbox One, but
It's
also
gonna
keep them
help
playing.
mend
It's
that-
gonna help them keep playing the 360.
It's going to help them mend that incredibly sour reputation they got post E3.
Oh
Deservedly
yeah.
so.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, coming from Sony, though not about the PlayStation, more about Planetside 2, in the fact that Sony Online Entertainment is actually taking a page from Valve in the fact that they're allowing user-made items into their marketplace. Now, the user-made items are limited, though, to only decals, hood ornaments, camo patterns, vehicle canopy overlays, and helmets. But still, they're going to follow
So
the
cosmetics.
Yeah, it's cosmetics only. I mean, they're keeping the guns to their own, to themselves, in order to be able to fully balance them and make sure nothing gets overpowered.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not bad. I mean,
That's a smart move.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
TF2 has made a killing off just hats.
yeah,
Oh,
hats
yeah.
and a lot of cosmetic items, and quite a few of them now have been made by the community at large. So to open this up, I mean, this not only brings more community involvement, but also it's also giving that thank you to those people that make these items, in the fact that they will actually get a cut of the money that is made from purchasing those items that they make. Sony Online Entertainment will be taking a 60% cut of the revenues earned, while the 40 will go straight to the creators of the items, with checks going out every quarter to the creators.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
yeah, I mean, that was kind of one of the things I kind of criticized Planetside 2 for, was, how shitty initially it seemed the cash shop in the game seemed kind of shitty, the way they were charging for cosmetic stuff and armor and the like, and I don't know. I mean, it might be different now. I know, like, initially when that game came out, like, I wasn't too thrilled about the prices they were charging for some of that stuff.
Oh yeah, I wasn't either.
I'm not familiar how much they were charging for cosmetic items.
I don't quite remember. I have to revisit
They were
Planetside,
running
too.
like $5 just for a helmet, and
Oh, for just a cosmetic helmet?
yeah,
Well, that's
Like shit
worse
like
than
that.
13 too.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know if it's changed now, but I know initially that's what it was like when I was playing that game. So
Yeah, I have to check out the game again
As well as,
myself.
like,
I've kind of fallen out of it. I'll have to
Yeah,
give it another shot, especially since they've also recently announced they're finally going close to launching the third area to fight over. It's an entire jungle area, which definitely looks nice.
I mean, yeah, there was a good amount of janky stuff to that game too, which obviously was not going to work right out of the gate. But if it has gotten better, I wouldn't mind going back into it and seeing what it's like. But I haven't really heard anybody that I talk to say anything about whether they've been playing it or not.
Yeah. It's just, after a little bit, I was just like, I just kind of got bored of it. And probably because I didn't have a group to play with. But, I mean, now, I'll definitely take a look at it, especially also to check out the new area. It's called Hassan. To check out how the jungle area of Araxis looks. Because I know there's going to be a lot of places to for cover and that, because you got dense forested areas and just all around jungle.
Yeah, I think the big thing that turned me off about it, again, back when it initially launched and I started getting, and when I played it, was it just seemed really difficult to kind of progress in that game. You were pretty much limited to you were better off buying shit, which feels kind of gross.
Yeah, it just makes it pay to win, sadly. When it comes to something like that. Moving on, we have a two-parter article we have to talk about. And we start from earlier of this week, where Saints Row 4 was still refused classification in Australia. Yeah, even though...
Fuck the Australian government.
No shit.
For their...
Yeah,
nanny... For the way they're nannying what grown-ass men and women are buying.
Yeah, convening of a review board found that the original ruling by the classification board from June was correct, and that the upcoming title from Evolution would still be refused classification, even though a low-violence version of Saints Row 4 was uncovered on Steam, and basically would have, some of the stuff that was griped on was to be taken out. Unfortunately,
the whole fucking reason they gave them the 18+ rating in that system was so that we wouldn't be able to censor. We wouldn't have to censor things. We could just give them the highest rating and say, okay, that's it, be done with it. Only adults can buy it.
Yeah. And it bleeds into the whole thing that the AO 18 rating is broken because nobody wants to ship it, nobody wants to sell it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Although ESRB is very, very... will rarely ever hand out an AO rating for America. That's an incredibly rare circumstance.
Yeah,
and quite frankly, if it was getting an AO rating, it wasn't going to sell anyway.
I mean, the only time I've ever seen an AO rating ever was with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas after the hot coffee incident.
The AO rating in America, that is not enforced by the government. That is enforced by the industry itself.
Oh, jeez.
So when you get an AO rating, that's not the government saying you can't sell it. That is the store itself saying we won't sell it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a different story entirely to the government saying, no, you're a grown-ass man, but you can't play this game. Fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, anyways, back with this. When the resubmitted version was said to basically reduce down the main issue that was at first the whole sexual violence kind of thing.
Then it was the drugs.
Yeah, it then ended up being swapped over towards the drugs of one mission where you actually had to take drugs in order to gain superpowers. And because of this, it leads us to where we are today, in the fact that it's now Saints Row 4 has finally been rated in Australia, but it's kind of been a little gutted in the fact that one 20-minute mission, which is the mission involving said drugs, is completely gone from the game for the Australian version, along with the Rectifier Anal Probe weapon. And this was all to just give it the MA 15 plus rating, which is lower than the highest tier R 18 plus.
I'm going to very briefly bleed into politics, and I'm going to stay as brief as I can in this. In real life, I am a pretty liberal person when it comes to government action. One thing I do not tolerate, though, and that is from any government, is limiting or censoring media in any shape or form. That pisses me off to no end. And this is one of the worst offenses I've seen in a while.
Yeah, this is...
And the funny thing is, Saints Row 3 got in just fine without the 18 plus rating, so we're going backwards somehow.
Yeah, again, what the fuck, Australia? I mean, what are you guys doing?
Australians, your government must hate
I mean,
you in some way.
yeah, seriously, and not only that,
I'm sorry, not Australians, Australian gamers, and specifically, your government kind of hates you.
Yeah, and you know what this is also going to cause? I mean, this is going to cause a little bit of piracy in the fact that, Australian gamers are going to want the full-fledged version of this game. They don't want the whole stripped-down shit. They want the full thing. Well, yeah, they could either pirate it or import it.
Yeah, especially since,
Australians...
Australians...
Since it's so expensive, it's probably cheaper to import it anyway.
Yeah, exactly, because Australians get such a motherfucking price hike, and that's not really, Australia because of the price hike. That's the fucking publishers that do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in an age where most of the digital distribution is becoming a very, very popular thing. So these price hikes should not be occurring, really, when you think about it. These fantastic price hikes for games in an age where you don't have to worry about shipping or anything. You just have to worry about transmitting data over the internet.
Yeah. Seriously, Australian gamers need to start doing something, because this is a level of insanity.
I feel sorry for people who play games in Australia, because they get dicked over so
yeah, they really, really do. All right.
Their Yahtzee is so pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what inspired Zero Punctuation.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Next up. It's been announced that Batman Arkham Origins will actually be having online multiplayer to the will be added to the series, starting with this one. Splash Damage is taking over with the multiplayer side of things, which we know their previous titles have been in Enemy Territory, Quake Wars, and of course the not so well received Brink. Yeah, but they will be handling the development duties of said multiplayer and operating wholly separately from Warner Brothers Montreal, who is handling the single-player and story modes. Now, for those that are actually fearing a possible rehash of Batman Gotham Imposters, Splash Damage will actually be taking a different and more asymmetrical route to the multiplayer in the Arkham universe, mainly with the fact that the game will feature 8 players divided into 2 teams of 3 and 1 team of 2. And they showed off a trailer where they showed, the teams of 3 filling the shoes of the Joker, Bane, and their respective henchmen, or the duo becomes filling the roles of Batman and Robin. The villains will have access to all sorts of nasty weaponry like rifles, shotguns, grenades, and remote-controlled aerial bombs. So the stuff for them is like a third-person shooter. They will have to worry about cover, picking up ammo, and so on, while Batman and Robin, on the other hand, have access to many of the gadgets and abilities of the main game, including the series' signature detective mode. And since they also can only take a few bullets few bullets before they go down. They have to use stealth like takedowns and whatnot. Basically, they cannot engage in direct fire.
That, like Batman does in the video in the single player campaign.
Yeah,
where he can't get shot.
Yeah, it kind of sounds reminiscent of like Spies versus Mercs from.
Also sounds so
Splinter Cell.
very freaking pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know about this whole multiplayer thing. I mean, I really think they should have just let this as a story mode.
It's interesting that they have Batman and Robin basically regulating against Joker and Bane having a street brawl. That's a cool concept for a multiplayer game. It just doesn't seem like the Batman games need those kinds of modes.
Yeah, and well, this also goes in a side note. Of all the versions with Batman Arkham Origins, Wii U is not going to be getting this multiplayer mode, which to me is like, it's me, it's both a dick move, but also I kind of, it might not be worth missing. It might not be missed.
But that no one cares about it at the same time.
Yeah, because the developers basically came out, or developers, publishers, one of them, basically came out and said that we're going to focus on PC, 360, and PS3 because
the Wii U doesn't sell.
They have the largest audience.
Yeah,
so,
but still, I really don't think the Batman Arkham series really kind of just didn't need multiplayer. And yeah, that's another thing. And Fernape has pointed out in the chat here. Yeah, the game's still going to be full price on the Wii U, so I'm like,
I'm going to ask people who are interested in this game: were you ever really going to buy it on a Wii U? Like, let's keep it real. Keep it real.
Well,
if you were interested in that series, you've already got them on the PS3 and the 360, which means you already own the PS3 or 360, means you're going to get it on those consoles.
Yeah,
so why would you even bother?
The thing with Arkham City in general, like I remember reading the reviews for Arkham City on the Wii U version, and it was basically, it sounded so fucked up the way they, like, all that armored edition and all that bullshit touchscreen functionality that they had implemented, just, it hampered the experience of, then you look on your screen and then you tap this thing and then you do this, and it's like, on 360 version I push one fucking button and there I go, and how is that better? So, you know,
and I get that some people who don't have the PS3 or 360 will get snubbed, but on the same time, I don't expect those people to make enough of a difference for Activision to truly care.
I don't think it's Activision.
No, this is not Activision.
I'm sorry, Warner Brothers.
Yeah. I mean, and granted, yeah, I mean, for the Nintendo diehards that, you know, did not purchase a 360 and a PS3, you know, it is understandable. There are those people out there, and then they just got a Wii U. You know,
that's kind of the trade-off you accept when you buy a Nintendo console, though. Like I've said before, when you buy a Nintendo console, you are basically saying, I am going to get this for Nintendo games almost to the exclusion of every other game out there that's worth buying.
It's like the exclusion of the multiplayer is not like something you're really gonna miss, but at the same time, it's just more proof of the industry does not have confidence in that thing yet.
Infernape.
I think the Wii U is going to go the way of the Dreamcast. Sadly,
Oh.
that doesn't mean Nintendo is going to quit. No, not by any means. They're just going to have a pretty tough time for a little while. They've got money coming out the ass. They can survive.
Yeah.
3DS is saving their ass right now.
Yeah. Infernape, Injustice for Wii U is getting the extra characters. That has been announced. They're getting extra characters, and I think like a couple exclusive outfits, if I remember correctly.
But again though, you when you buy a Wii U, you almost don't even care about that kind of crap, because you're the kind of person who's like, okay, I'm willing to play Nintendo games, and almost just Nintendo games. Or either that, or I am willing to buy this and then get another system to supplement that.
Yeah. Well,
too.
Yeah. Well, again, with the Wii U, we're still waiting on that. I mean, this is pretty much just the 3DS Part 2 on a different.
Out? How long have we been
It's been about I think it's been almost or about a year So
Close to it.
Close to it, yeah. I mean, we got Pikmin 3. We got one of the promised games. I mean, we not that far off from Wonderful 101. And not to mention, there's still some stuff that's still remaining on the horizon before the end of 2013. So we just have to see. We'll have to see.
There's basically no chance of it duplicating the success of the Wii, but it might be slightly successful once remade, but I don't think it's going to do that well overall.
Well, Wii, that one, it just got... It was marketed to hell and back. And again, we know the marketing is one of the reasons why the Wii U got crippled.
And the other reason that there's like no reason to really get it.
All right.
Like, even if you're a Nintendo fan, you're better off getting a 3DS at this point than the Wii U.
All right. Next up, Atlas. Yep, it's on the auction block, and it's already fetched over about 200 million at auction. Index is looking to announce the new owner, hopefully within this coming week. If not at the end of the month. Now, it's been said that there have been about 20 different firms putting bids up to 20 billion yen, which is equivalent of $200 million. And this is about 30% more than the projected estimates of the sales price going into the bankruptcy proceedings. Now, as of this time, there's only one notable name that is trying to get Atlas, and that is Sega. Sega, as a matter of fact, Index actually has some debt with Sega. So, it's not that surprising that Sega would try and grab Atlas out from Index. But the question remains, though, if they're going to win them.
I don't think it would be...
Sega owning Atlas wouldn't be that bad.
I don't think so.
Because
they're a third party, and they would probably end up releasing the games on all the systems they could.
Yeah, and especially, Sega, I kind of imagine them, like, just letting them operate as they have, and just, not getting into their hair too much and trying to change shit, but...
Oh yeah, I do agree. I really think if Sega ends up nabbing them, I really don't see any changes happening with Atlas. I mean, they're just gonna have a nice firm footing instead of the footing they've had with Index after
the Sonic team off the hook for this long. They might let a good developer off the hook for even longer.
Yeah, and
cheap shot.
Yeah,
cheap shot, Brandon.
Yeah,
and the thing with Atlas is that they were one of the few developer/publisher houses that kind of kept their expectations.
I know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah,
true.
Because they were one of the few companies to say, like, "Hey, we sold 1 million games. That's great."
Yep.
Yeah. They sell 1 million games, and they don't think that's a financial failure. They think, let's make an anime out of this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So again, we won't know until at the very least this week. If not, we'll know by the end of the month who will actually own Atlas. But again, the fact that Sega's the only notable company involved. Kind of surprising that we didn't hear no Nintendo, no Sony. So I guess Nintendo and Sony both realized, hey, we can't exactly take these guys and keep them multi-platform.
Guys, I want to spitball something at you. Okay, so imagine, like, say hypothetically, Atlas gets bought by Sega, and if Sega came out and said, "Hey guys, we want you to make the next Skies of Arcadia."
Oh my God, that would be fuck. Now I pray that happen. I pray that would happen. I seriously would pray that would happen.
Either that, or if they said, like, "Why don't you guys make another Phantasy Star?"
Well, I don't know about Phantasy Star since they've right now got Phantasy Star Online 2.
Well, not really Phantasy Star, but like if they wanted, like, not really Phantasy Star Online, but if they wanted to like make it
Well,
traditional,
yeah, a traditional Phantasy Star, yeah, that'd be interesting. But if Atlas was given the reins to Skies of Arcadia, oh my God, I would be so excited to see what they would do. Oh,
right?
You just had to say that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. You know you were thinking it. You know you were
Fuck. But we'll just have to see. So, keep the fingers crossed. Maybe Sega will get them. But it may also be a completely newcomer that we have no idea about. Alright, next.
I predict that God will come down and buy Atlas, and then we'll have games we will have games that no one will ever be able to buy because they'll be too expensive. You'll need to pay in divine blood.
What the fuck?
I was gonna say God was already in Persona, wasn't he? Like,
I don't think he's in Persona, but he was in a couple of Shin Megami Tensei games.
yeah, had to have been. Had to have been.
As the bad guy.
Okay. Next up, BioShock Infinite got some meh DLC this past week with the whole Clash in the Clouds.
Mediocre announcements.
The Clash in the Clouds, meh arena DLC. Personally, kind of avoid it unless you really like fighting enemies and whatnot. But the big announcement came.
Only people I know who've downloaded that have bought the season pass and it came with it.
Yeah. The major announcement though came in the fact of another trailer that was released showing the next installment of DLC. This is actually story DLC. Going back to Rapture before its fall. Titled Burial at Sea, BioShock Infinite Episode 1. This pretty much, way it looks is pretty much like an alternate... It fits in with the whole thing of BioShock Infinite. Spoiler alert for BioShock Infinite.
The major crux of the story is that there is a multiverse in which... there are tons, infinitely branching paths which reality could take, and that you can travel between these paths to see what changes happen.
Which to me, I love to think of that as Ken Levine's middle finger to the industry of like, all right, you want a continuous franchise? There's infinite universes. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's an actual theory proposed by some people, even though I hate that theory personally. But that's a side topic. Anyway, it's good that they're actually taking advantage of this with their DLC because they can with multiverse do really cool things like use a Booker and Elizabeth characters to take us to Rapture before the fall.
Elizabeth is a little sister.
No.
It's detective noir too, and I love noir stories.
Oh yeah. That was a definite eye catcher for me, and the fact that the trailer, it starts off, you see Booker actually has a detective agency in Rapture.
My attention is that this is a two-part DLC. They're going to release one episode.
Yeah, this will be a two-part DLC. I mean, I
believe they announced that in episode 2 you'll be playing as Elizabeth.
Yes.
Primarily.
Yeah, the first part of the DLC you will be playing as Booker, but in the second part you will get to play as Elizabeth, and they said that the gameplay will be quite different as her, in the fact that she's not really the tank that Booker is. So she can't take as many hits as him.
But I like it. I like that they're trying to make Elizabeth more of a femme fatale character. I like that they're trying to find different ways to bring these two together in an interesting way.
Yep.
I'm overall very pleased. Although I wonder if it was necessary to return to Rapture.
Well, honestly, yeah, that's kind of the boggling point. I mean, you went on to Columbia, and now we're going straight back to Rapture again. But at the same time, it's like, I want to find out.
I'm just questioning the logic behind it.
Oh, yeah.
To me, it sounds like, this is what people are familiar with. Like, this is something that, is kind of a fan favorite thing. People already know what Rapture is, and right off the bat, that would connect with people.
Like, yeah, I mean, this is kind of, with the whole thing of going back to Rapture, I feel it's a little bit of fan service to those that have stuck around with BioShock.
No one saw this coming.
Go to space until BioShock, fucking 4.
But,
sitting on the moon.
Although it is kind of disappointing in a way because there were a lot of really cool side stories in the voxophones of BioShock Infinite that could have been elaborated on in DLC. So I'm a little disappointed, but at the same time, this is very interesting, and I can't wait to hear more about it so I can actually pass judgment one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this. I mean, one of the things that I just, when I first played BioShock, it was like, you get to hear all this, stuff about, what was going on before the fall, and it's like you don't get to really experience it. Well, now you're going to be able to experience it finally in a storyline that involves, two familiar characters, though they're different than what you know them from in the original.
I wonder if we're going to focus on Rapture or on Booker and Elizabeth, because if you take a look, in BioShock 1, the focus was clearly on Rapture and exploring the world of Rapture, where in BioShock Infinite, it was Columbia was there, but mostly Booker and Elizabeth going through their story.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll have to see.
I wonder what they're going to focus on more if they're going to try to skirt the line a bit in this DLC.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. Yeah. All right. Next up, Tetsuya Nomura gave a interview with the LA Times via the translator, talking about the upcoming Kingdom Hearts 3, in which he reiterated the fact that Kingdom Hearts 3 is only just the end of a current storyline, just not the it's not the end of the overall series.
Crazy not franchise this.
Oh no! Well, Tetsuya Nomura, he said that. Excuse me. He said that as a core game, Kingdom Hearts 3 is finally the third, and 10 years have passed. Since we know when Kingdom Hearts first started. He says that he wouldn't call this a trilogy because there have been so many spin-offs, but in Kingdom Hearts 3, the battles that the characters have been fighting for the past 10 years will finally come to a conclusion.
This is going to conclude the arc of the characters that we have come to know and love in Kingdom Hearts.
Well, he says
Sora's going to jump into a beam of light, and she's got to pick red, blue, or green.
That's my joke.
Well, actually, no. Wei Nomura says that the series will continue. Only the particular enemy they have been fighting for the past 10 years will come to an end. So, more than likely, the characters won't be going. Well, the main characters won't be going away. Most likely, it's just the enemy itself will be gone, and a new enemy will replace it.
If personally, once this story is over,
and
just to go
got an emergency. Be right back.
Yeah.
I would rather them have a new cast after this, because don't get me wrong, I like Sora, I like the cast, but eventually I just like to see their arcs conclude so we can move on.
Because fucking Haley Joel Osment ain't gonna sound like that forever. Then again, I'm pretty sure he doesn't sound like that now.
He doesn't sound like he did in Kingdom Hearts 1 at all.
No. I mean, and that was one of the clever things about Kingdom Hearts 2, when they were like, oh man, you got bigger, and that's like, what's their excuse going to be this time? But whatever. I mean, yeah, of course it's going to keep going, because that series still makes money hand over fist, and
more than Final Fantasy nowadays, even.
Yeah. I mean, of course, and hey, new antagonists. Well, it's like, let's see what people are going to be fucking drawing fan art of themselves now.
Which is great, because Xehanort is such a fucking villain, Sue, that I'm glad that he's going to die soon.
Yeah, I thought the Heartless were kind of stupid, but I don't know. That's just me.
I just kind of miss how easy the plot was to understand in the first game.
Yeah. And
like in the first game, there wasn't a whole lot to it. It was, you are the light fighting the darkness.
Yeah, pretty much. And
then Kingdom Hearts 2 and Chain of Memories and Up added all these freaking complications to an otherwise, and it's still generally simple plot that's just needlessly convoluted.
Yeah, I just hope, the Kingdom Hearts sequels have subtitles that are easy to fucking read, like 30.5 days over 4, what the hell,
358 half days.
Yeah, over 2, or some stupid bullshit like that. But
it was 358 over 2 days.
Yeah, but who cares? More fucking Keyblades.
But yeah, I mean, we get the confirmation that the main characters will not be really will probably not change all that much when it goes to like the next Kingdom Hearts.
That's like Sora in so he basically doesn't change. He's a very
Like,
static
does anybody
character.
remember the teaser that they had at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, where it was like this thing of like the Keyblade War, and there was like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you mean the teaser of Birth by Sleep?
Yeah, that was the teaser for Birth by Sleep.
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh. See, I hadn't played that, so whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played it either because it's.
But Birth by Sleep actually dealt with that, like.
Yeah.
Birth by Sleep was actually also a really solid game. I recommend it if you get a
Okay.
PSP.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's the only reason I even want a PSP is to just play that and.
Not
figure out
Persona
what's going
3
on.
Portable?
Well, yeah, that too, I guess. But I've already got Persona 3 downloaded from Persona 3 FES downloaded from the PlayStation Network shop. Anyways,
Yeah, this whole Kingdom Hearts story is old news, though, in a way, because Nomura already announced this. In a sense.
well,
It's just
yeah,
elaborating on
he
something that's
wanted
already
to
announced.
he wanted to clarify in the fact that basically it's just the conclusion of the enemy that they've been fighting over the 10 years of the series.
So
Anyway.
then you fight, this dude called the, oh shit. I was gonna make a joke on Halo 4, but I can't remember what the names were.
Anyways, moving on, I got to quickly.
You'll fight a guy named the Didact, and he turns out to be one of these he turns out to be from like a progenitor race, and then you find out, oh wait, these people were the progenitor race the whole time. And
All right, Digby, you have to take over for this one. I gotta grab something real fast.
All right.
Yeah, it's
The
the.
next story, it's a possible next entry in the Red Dead Redemption by Take-Two.
oh man,
CEO Strauss Zelnick commented on a recent earnings call that Take-Two has a different goal from most of the industry, saying their goal was to try and create permanent franchise as opposed to making hay while the sun shines by attempting to make as much money as possible when a property is popular, aka the Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty models.
yeah, basically.
So they will consider a Red Dead franchise another addition to that series,
I mean,
but only if they're convinced that they can do it right.
yeah, because there's a reason you don't see a Grand Theft Auto game every fucking year, because they take their time with their shit and they want to make sure that's done correctly.
And they seem like Valve in a sense where they won't do anything unless they've got an inspiration to do it.
Yeah. And Red Dead Redemption, I mean, that game was a hard act to follow. That was, the character, the story, everything about it was fucking brilliant. And
I mean, if you compare it to like Ubisoft again, because I am still mad at them for the way they bastardized Assassin's Creed.
yeah. But again,
tell Ubisoft, why aren't you making new Assassin's Creed? They'd be like, but we're making like 3 of them right now, actually.
Yeah.
And if you ask Rockstar, hey, why aren't you making new Grand Theft Auto? They'd be like, I don't wanna.
Well, yeah, and you know what? I mean, in Grand Theft Auto, like I said, we don't get one every single fucking year because there's no need for that, and it's best
Not
that
at
they
all.
don't do that shit. They take their time with it.
I agree very much.
So if they were gonna do, Red Dead Redemption games, then yeah, fucking make sure it's done right. Take 2, 3, fucking
It
4
is-
years.
It's nice that despite being a AAA studio with so much money and production values, that they're willing to take their time, because very few people are willing to do that anymore.
Yep.
All right, moving on.
Here, let me read the next story.
Go ahead. Be my guest.
Where's the link?
Here, I'll put it in the
Yeah, I was gonna say.
chat.
I never have this shit pulled up. Okay, come on, Destructoid. Or Blistered Thumbs, whatever. Fucking.
And I'll also link.
Oh,
to the-
God! This is gonna get my goat. Alright. Capcom suffers 37% drop in quarterly profits. Japanese publisher Capcom showed strong quarterly earnings the last time we took a look at their financials, i.e. the people who wrote this. With only ports and re-releases to speak of, the company is reporting a 37.3% dip in profits in the April to June quarter of 2013. Neither Resident Evil Revelations nor Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen managed to meet their projections, while operating costs soared and net sales dropped to about 6%. All of this likely contributed to the round of layoffs that claimed Senior Vice President Christian Svensson. The next quarter sees Lost Planet 3 as the tentpole release. Capcom also has Dead Rising 3 and Ultra Street Fighter 4 to look forward to.
Now, I'm going to ignore everything you just said, and I'm going to focus on the words operating costs soared and say that's the problem.
Yep. It's because, again, going back to Resident Evil 6, their answer to everything was like, just throw as much money as we possibly have. It's bound to do well. And then your game sells 3 million, and you're like, this is a failure.
No, it's worse. Resident Evil 6 sold like 6 million, and it was still a failure.
God. Yeah, I keep forgetting that. And the thing is, like with Resident Evil Revelations, like I hear nothing
And
but
that's
good
new
things.
copies.
Yeah, and like I hear people, loving the shit out of that game, and
I've also heard people hating the shit out of that game.
I've heard some stupid shit about that, like guy whose code name is Jackass, but whatever. But again, I hear people that love it like crazy and think it's a really good decision that they brought it on consoles. But still, yeah, I don't know anybody that bought it. And Dragon's Dogma,
It looks mediocre though when we look at Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah,
There's
really.
something about it that's like just looks mediocre.
Yeah, especially when the first. I mean, it was basically a Japanese studio trying to make a Western RPG, which I give them props for. It was just that, they kind of needed some better execution, like, have a fast travel in your fucking game, instead of forcing people to walk everywhere.
Yeah. At this point, the fast travel is like that list of things we expect from open world.
Yeah. I mean, I knew one or two people that enjoyed Dragon's Dogma. Everybody else, nobody. I don't know anybody that gave a shit about Dragon's Dogma. And
I know someone who likes Dragon's Dogma, but most people in my contacts don't even like. What is that?
yeah, like nobody really cared. Like I said, I know one or two people that like the people I know that played it, like they liked it. I don't know anybody that bought it and said, yeah, this sucks and took it back. But
Like, I applaud Capcom for taking the risk.
Yeah.
For both games like this and Remember Me, but they find some way to screw it up every time.
yeah, and Remember Me, I think. God, I was bummed when I heard that game wasn't that great because I was pulling for it.
I'm waiting to get it when it's at a lower price. When it's new for lower price.
But yeah, so the thing to look forward to, Lost Planet 3, which, a lot of people...
I never really cared about that series.
So the first Lost Planet game I enjoyed. There's kind of a retro quality to it. Because
and then the second...
Yeah, Lost Planet 2 was a fucking mess. Like, holy shit, that game. Yeah, God, Lost Planet 2 fucking sucked so much.
The bottom line is that Capcom has a lot of problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And
all of them can come down at some point or another to really shitty business practices and mismanagement of resources.
Yep, and Dead Rising 3. I don't know anybody saying anything positive about that. Ultra Street Fighter 4. Again, who the fuck cares? And like, God, fucking Ultra Street Fighter 4. It was like that thing of like back when they did Super Street Fighter 4. I was like, I thought we were past this, Capcom. I really did. Because they don't know how to count to 5.
It's almost inexcusable in a day and age where DLC is so commonplace.
Yeah, almost, and especially since Capcom is like one of those companies that...
Like, I don't mind them selling the complete editions at lower prices, but...
Yeah, but the thing that, especially gets me is like, how about us people that paid, full $60 for a game that is now considered...
It was essentially a beta for the true version.
Yeah, which is bullshit, so I don't know. Nah.
And then there's Dead Rising 3, which seems to have missed the entire point of that franchise.
Yep, and especially when you have, I think they have people say that the style that they went with, they wanted to try to appeal to like the Call of Duty players.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't have high hopes for Capcom, and I've said this so many times before. I give them like 1 or 2 years before they go the way of THQ. Calling it.
Okay, so I think we're ready to move on to the next story.
All right,
Yep.
back. Sorry about that. I had to grab a few things for the folks.
We just
yeah,
we finished
I
two
heard.
stories in the meantime.
I heard. Yeah, and yeah, I'm kind of just shaking my head at Capcom. I mean, but then again, they also. It was expected after frickin' Svensson decided to leave, along with several others.
Yeah, I was done after Shinji Mikami and Keiji Inafune left, but moving on.
Yep. Next up, Obsidian has revealed its plan for a potential Knights of the Old Republic 3 for an actual end to the trilogy. Now, Obsidian's Chris Avellone. Avalon, whatever. Spoke to Eurogamer, and he admitted that he really wants to do a final sequel to Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and he's explained further plans for the crew of the Even Hawk. And he's even said that Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 3 actually existed in pre-production at Obsidian, but it never made it past the pitch process, unfortunately, when it was first tried.
What they should have been doing other than that fucking online game that they had to make.
True. Chris said that it felt like we were pitching and it wasn't going anywhere, and at some point people just drew a line and said it's just not going to happen. I had never considered the KOTOR games to be part of a potential trilogy, but the KOTOR games, the KOTOR games were never it didn't feel like to be a possible trilogy, but with Chris confirming that the plan was to have the exile from KOTOR 2 potentially meeting Revan from KOTOR 1 and finding the true Sith Lords for the third and final installment.
Yeah, because like I didn't finish KOTOR 2, but like I had heard that kind of ended on a cliffhanger. Like the ending of that game was not that fulfilling.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Knoxville, everyone dies.
Well, not really that. It's just like now we're here. Credits roll, and so
it felt just like such a friggin' pulling the rug out from under you, if you will.
Like, it was really abrupt.
That's a problem with a lot of Obsidian games, though. Like even New Vegas, to an extent, there are a lot of the endings were clearly rushed because at some point or another the publisher cracked down on them and said, "No, we got to release this now."
Yeah, which is a fucking shame.
That's something that Obsidian has always had problems with in almost all of their games.
Yeah, and even though thankfully the Sith Lords content mod helps squeeze every little bit that's buried in KOTOR 2.
I appreciate Obsidian's ambitions because they always try to go as far as they can go, but because of always some sort of constraints, they never succeed. And I'm hoping with Project Eternity they can prove they are actually very competent game developers.
Yeah, and hopefully with that,
if
we
Project
will.
Eternity fails, this is basically lights out for Obsidian at that point.
Yeah, I do agree on that.
Alpha Protocol certainly didn't do them any favors.
Oh no, it didn't.
I like that game.
No, you do.
But yeah,
I admit that it is a highly flawed game, but it has a charm to it that you basically can only get from Obsidian games at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Alpha Protocol had a really good story. It was just the execution wasn't there.
Oh yeah,
as far as the gameplay department went, but it had a really good story and memorable characters though. So that was one.
If you didn't play Alpha Protocol and Easy, you were playing the game wrong.
I actually have that game downloaded. I recently got it, but So we'll see.
I'm hoping that as long as Project Eternity is successful, maybe they'll retry KOTOR 3 and we'll finally get some closure with that series.
They can't do that with EA's permission and EA's.
Oh yeah, true. Well, true.
And Obsidian, they always had this reputation of riding BioWare's coattails because it was like BioWare would make some awesome RPG like KOTOR, and then here comes Obsidian to pick up and make a sequel. It was the same thing with Neverwinter Nights, and I want to say there was one other game, but I don't think there was. But now BioWare isn't even fucking BioWare anymore. So
basically, if you want a lot of choice-driven RPGs, you need to go to Obsidian nowadays.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're basically shit out of luck.
Alright, next up. A little bit of a shocker, to be honest. Bethesda has come out and officially said they've officially crushed the whole Arcane Studios is working on Prey 2 rumor. Officially saying that they're not working on it, they're doing their own thing. Human Head is still working on Prey 2. It's just Prey 2 is not where it needs to be yet.
Which begs the question, who gives a fuck about Prey 2?
I do. I played Prey.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you. Until we had these Prey 2 controversies, I'd never even heard of Prey.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll be honest, like I remember there was some early concepts of like Prey 2 being like a noir story and like this alien world, which sounded fucking fantastic. And then next thing I heard was that shit got scrapped so they could start over. And it's like, if somebody, like, if Prey 2 ever does get released, I'm pretty sure no one is going to fund a Prey 3 unless that shit goes to Kickstarter, because if anybody in like the mainstream industry is going to look at Prey 3, they're going to say, fuck this. It is a nightmare to make any of these games.
Yeah, but this rumor was debunked at this past QuakeCon. Bethesda's Pete Hines pretty much saying no to all that stuff. I have no idea where the rumor came from. The Human Head Prey 2 thing is the Human Head Prey 2 thing. Arcane is over here and they're doing their thing, but that's for them to work on. But yeah, it's still, again, though, is Bethesda giving the excuse that Prey 2 is not where it needs to be yet, and we're not going to show it show anything about it until it gets to that point. And I'm just like, this is the same shit, different day. I mean, honestly, Bethesda, you gotta give us more info than that, because as of right now, this game should be considered vaporware. This game should be considered totally vaporware.
Yeah, pretty much is.
Because Human Head may be still working on it, but it doesn't look like it because you haven't shown shit, and you haven't given an explanation as to why you haven't shown anything. So,
well, Bethesda is always pretty tight-lipped until they have like a working demo to show.
Maybe, but still, it's.
Although, if you've taken
this game has been
something to show us, that is a problem.
Yeah, that's where I'm coming from. Is the fact that the last time we've seen this was way back, and it's been going on this long without any kind of info as to what the progress is and whatnot. So it's again vaporware right now until they reveal something. Yeah.
And on to the brief mentions.
Yep, brief mention time, and oh god, we got there's going to be one brief mention here that's going to piss me off. I can tell you that right now. And
shotgun round.
Well, let's start this off. Back towards Microsoft. They have officially unveiled the prices for the Xbox One controllers and the headsets. The controllers, what the fuck? $70? I mean, the controllers, $60.
It sucks, but it's not surprising.
Yeah, considering
360 controllers like $60 to begin with.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah.
So,
but it's the same thing as it's also going to be the same price as the new PS4 controller. So not much gripe there.
Sucks,
the thing is though, the plain charge kit, the rechargeable battery pack for the battery pack. I mean the headset and the play-in charge kit. They're both going to be going for $25.
Whoa.
Yeah. The headset... Oh, God. The Xbox 360 headsets were just $20. And just the extra $5, I'm kind of... Well, maybe it's for wireless thing, but... For $25 for the play-in charge kit? Come on. I could get fucking rechargeable batteries for less than that.
That's kind of what I would do, because if those things still take AA's, yeah, I would use rechargeable batteries, not really so much because of price, because rechargeable batteries last me longer than a fucking play and charge kit does, because I still remember those play and charge kits, you could use those things for like 12 months. After that, they suck shit.
Yeah, and not to mention, again, the fact that Xbox One doesn't have a headset in the package, so you're going to have to shell out an extra $25 if you want to be able to voice chat right off the bat. Though the other option, though, is what they've also Microsoft's revealed, is that the current Xbox 360 headsets will work on the Xbox One with an adapter they will be selling. As of right now, though, they haven't really given a price point, though.
What is with them and adapters for every fucking thing?
I know, right? I mean, it's like it doesn't work on this. Oh, let's make an adapter for it. Let's make an adapter for this. Make an adapter for that. I mean, God. Anyway.
I'm not talking to anybody.
Anyways, so Microsoft will be making their own adapter. There's no price point for it just yet, but yeah, it will be
too much. It could be $5 and it'll be way too much.
Yeah. Well, also, we also wouldn't be surprised with if third parties, they make their own adapters like Astro or Turtle Beach. So if they, they're going to come out with something of their own and have it at a lower price point. So,
anyway, moving on.
So we'll have to just see what happens when prices are finalized and whatnot.
Next, some wired controllers are, so I get one for my PC.
Next up, two stories coming from Nintendo. First off, is Nintendo maybe thinking about releasing Mother 3 across the states finally? Well, this is mainly because of the fact that they've actually have added to the Wii U Miiverse an Earthbound announcement community, saying in the description saying that it's your official source for the latest Earthbound news and information. Posting is restricted to Nintendo representatives, but feel free to add your own comments.
I'll believe that shit when I see it.
The answer is still no.
Earthbound. Since the release on the Wii U Virtual Console, it's been doing great. So I don't, maybe
the first time you could play that game in fucking 20 years.
Well, yeah, so. but also, I mean, if this brings up enough buzz, I mean, who knows? Mother 3 may actually finally come over to the States. And especially with the fact that that Nintendo went out of their way to put up an announcement community where only they can post news and information, and everyone else can just only post comments. So
how many times I've seen people do that, similar things, and then nothing comes out of it.
Yeah. So like I said, I'll believe it when I see it.
The other bit of Nintendo news is Nintendo has basically renewed the trademark on Eternal Darkness, and this is possibly pointing towards a re-release of Eternal Darkness.
Possibly. Since that new Kickstarter is coming out for the spiritual successor.
Yeah, for Shadow. Yeah, and Nintendo filed a new trademark mentioning downloadable electronic game software. So, Wii U eShop re-release of Eternal Darkness may be in the cards.
Again, believe it when I see it.
True. But the patent is out there. The patent is out there. It's official. Nintendo did put the patent out on it, so we'll have to see what happens.
That seems possible.
Either that, or they're going to be complete dicks, and it's like we got this patent so that no one can ever re-release it.
Anyway, next up. We have the new head of Eidos Montreal now, David Anfossi is the new head of Eidos Montreal, and he's no stranger to it in the fact that he's been working at the place since day one, and he was the executive producer of Deus Ex: Human Revolution.
Huh? See how long it takes for Square Enix
We'll
to...
see how long until
how long it takes before Square Enix pisses him off.
Yep.
But at the same time, we'll be getting that in a later story.
I mean, Human Evolution's like one of the few good, like really good successors to those old games that we've gotten out of Square Enix Naz Montreal.
Tomb Raider was pretty solid. I still want to play it.
Who was?
Yeah.
Which one was?
Tomb Raider, the new one.
Oh yeah, the Tomb Raider. I forgot about Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Sleeping Dogs was some awesome shit.
Yeah, that was basically true crime.
Yeah, but it was awesome though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what if any impact he could have with the studio being the new
He's
head.
from the side of ALS that makes the good ones.
True.
Not
All
the
right.
side that makes Hitman Absolution.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next up.
Still mad about that.
I think everyone is. Anyway, next up, a quick couple announcements of first quick announcement of the current Humble Bundle that's out now. It's one hell of a deal. It is the Deep Silver Bundle.
It's actually the first home bundle that actually gives no fucks about.
And I actually did, mainly because of the fact that, okay, I mean, if you want this bundle, I'll tell you right now, I mean, the big ones, of course, Saints Row 2, Saints Row the Third, and the fact that if you just pay more than, I think it's like, last time I checked, it was like $4.97, you can get the entire DLC of Saints Row the Third, all for just like less than you actually would have to pay for it separately.
On the other hand, that mean I had to have a purchase of Dead Island on my conscience, and I can't allow that.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, the disappointing parts though are the fact that you also got Risen 2 Dark Waters and Sacred 2 Gold Edition along with Dead Island Game of the Year Edition.
It's like allowing the crackheads to be in the family picture just because they have the same last name.
Also, if you pay $25 or more, you will also get Dead Island Riptide as well.
You don't want that.
No, you don't.
I don't care who's watching this. I guarantee you don't want that.
Yeah. So if you want to get this, I recommend you better just have a very high interest in having Saints Row 2, which is a very good game, and Saints Row the Third along with
Saints Row DLC. Get this. If not, skip it.
Yeah. All right. Also, next up, Microsoft has revealed the August new free Xbox Live games for those that have gold accounts still active, and they are Crackdown and Dead Rising 2. This, I finally applaud. It's like, okay, Microsoft, you're finally getting the idea. You're finally catching up a little bit.
On the other hand, you can't play those games without being signed on to Live.
That's true as well.
And I don't know if I follow Ryuda-kun on Twitter, and he was having a really annoying time playing Crackdown because people kept trying to join in his game when he set it to a private match, and he can't just sign out of Xbox Live. If you sign out of Xbox Live, you lost access to the game.
Oh man, what a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
They started tweeting, "Fuck always online DRM."
Yeah, I
Thank
do.
you.
Yeah, that's the one point that sucks about it. I mean, sure, you're gonna have free access towards. Oh God. Wow. Okay, they completely screwed this up. It's actually Crackdown 2 you get access to. Yeah, avoid Crackdown 2 at all costs. But
It's the sequel that no one cares about.
The sequel. Yeah, but Dead Rising 2, along with you also get access to Case Zero as well for free. I mean, that is alright, but with the always online DRM, yeah, it's a sour note.
This isn't bad, but it's just that it's still inferior to PlayStation Plus.
Yep, I do agree on that one. Alright.
Anyway.
Next up. Sonic Lost World, it's got some aggressive language, apparently.
Ooh.
No, actually, the Entertainment Software Board ratings, when they were reading a summary of, when they were looking at the Sonic Lost World in depth, they noted some of this. They said that during gameplay, characters sometimes use aggressive language such as, "You're going home in a box. I'm going to skin you alive, and I long for death's cold embrace.
You're
Cutscenes.
not going to get a mature rated Sonic game.
I
It's
was
just
gonna
not-
say,
No,
fucking Shadow in this game, because that sounds like some emo shit.
I know. Cutscenes also depict laser fire and explosions, as well as dialogue that references violence. Examples are, "I'll get fat from eating your black hearts," "1 second and you're contemplating genocide," and "as long as I can still strangle a Zeddy, my hands are fine." Yeah, I have a feeling this game This game is probably going to get a teen rating.
Yeah, definitely going to get a T
That's
for
what
teen
makes
rating.
Sonic cool with the kids, man. He's got the attitude, and he tells people.
I doubt that's Sonic. I
doubt these
think
things
it's
come
the
from Sonic's
I think
mouth.
it's the enemies. I think it's those
Chili
new
dogs.
enemies.
Okay, you be careful, Tails.
I mean, it's just this is definitely probably going to get a teen rating if this is completely true. And it's just, I mean, I can understand. I can understand. No, I can understand. I can understand being maybe a little bit more adult with the enemies, but that kind of looks like it steps over the bounds a bit. Next up. Oh boy. Here's the one I'm gonna get pissed off about. Speaking of Capcom, Breath of Fire 6 has been announced. Bad news. It's on fucking phones. It's on fucking tablets and smartphones. What the fuck, Capcom? Seriously. I've been waiting and waiting for you to return to this series and bring the 6th installment and try and dig yourselves out of the fucking hole you left yourselves in Dragon Quarter, and this is what you fucking do. Fuck you up the goddamn ass.
You know, if it's a browser game, you know what that means. It's probably going to end up being free to play with microtransactions.
This is the biggest middle finger that could have ever fucking happened.
I wonder why Capcom's not doing so well.
Yeah. Because they probably talked to somebody at Square and said, like, hey, Final Fantasy All the Bravest? We should make something like that.
All the Bravest. More like all of the greedy ripoffs.
Oh, shit.
Anyways, as of right now, it's only planned for Japan, and personally, I would prefer it to stay in Japan.
You want a new shinier +1 sword, Gamer Wolf? That costs you about $1, please.
And it's slated for a 2014 release. God,
do you want even shinier +1 sword? That'll be $1.50.
Fucking bullshit. This is what I fucking am so sick of, these goddamn stupid smartphone tablet games that just don't belong. And this is one of them.
Fuck, even Riccatello at this point's like, mobile markets aren't for everything.
Yeah, no shit.
But
apparently, I guess Mega Man Cross Zone has done so well, or Crossover, whatever the fuck they called it.
Mega Man X over, and that does not need to come over the States either. Fucking shit. This is... it leaves such a bad taste in my mouth.
Tell us how you really feel.
It leaves such a bad taste in my mouth. I mean, honestly, this is like the big... Again, I reiterate, this is the biggest fucking middle finger I have... Just fuck you, Capcom. Just
go on. Tell us how you really feel.
Fuck you. I really hope that 37 drop in quarterly profits goes even fucking lower, because you know what, you honestly don't deserve the Breath of Fire franchise anymore. You need to fucking lose it.
Speaking of Capcom,
unfortunately, we got more news involving Capcom, and it's more mobile shit. They've announced Street Fighter Battle Combination and Street Fighter X All Capcom. Now, Street Fighter Battle Combination is pretty much a fucking card game. Need I say more?
I summon Ryu.
It's basically you have this fucking deck with the character of your choice, and it's basically every single their damn moves and whatnot.
Yeah, and you can pay $5 more for a booster pack.
Yeah.
I activate the spell card Hadouken.
Yeah, it said that the players will have to build decks of cards to represent their chosen fighters and engage on 5-on-5 team battles. And it's going to draw... the graphical style is going to draw on Street Fighter 4. This is planned to arrive on iOS and Android in Japan on October 22nd. An international release for the title is yet to be confirmed. As for the other one, Street Fighter XL Capcom, it will feature 500 characters to begin with, taken from over 20 different Capcom properties, including Darkstalkers, Mega Man, Ghost Trick, Monster Hunter, Beautiful Joe, and more.
But I thought
However,
Darkstalkers wasn't that good. I mean, it didn't sell, which means it must be a shitty franchise. Right?
However,
Yeah.
details of the actual game remain vague at the moment, but Capcom's describing it as, and this is where I fucking groan, a hero-raising RPG. What the fuck? You're trying to pull some Tamagotchi shit, you goddamn retards.
Ryu will start at level 1 with no moves and has to get all his moves gradually as the game progresses?
I guess. I mean, God, this is... dig yourselves in the hole deeper, Capcom.
Capcom, let me get you a shovel to help you dig that hole faster.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. The only slight solace, for those that don't own the game, they don't have the game yet in any incarnation, Breath of Fire 2 is confirmed to be coming onto the Wii U's virtual console. Though, I have mixed feelings with the Breath of Fire 2. I mean, it's a good game. It's a very good game. Problem is, it's the prime example of why Capcom back then can translate worse shit. Yeah.
Hello, X-Men. Welcome to die.
Yeah. If you even sad to say, I mean, unless you really want to get this on the Wii U to be able to just play it off screen and that, get an emulated version of this. I mean, I have to recommend an emulated version of this, and to get the mod that actually cleans up so much of the fucking dialogue it actually makes fucking sense even more.
I actually own a Game Boy Advance version of this game.
The translation is still shit. in fact, this is where I make the mention of don't even play the Breath of Fire 1 on the GBA, because that translation was handled by Capcom themselves. They did not keep the Square Enix translation, or the Square Soft translation.
Fortunately, you won't be able to play Breath of Fire 6 in the GBA. So I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, but the SNES Breath of Fire 1 is superior than the GBA one, and for the second one, there is a mod out there that cleans up a lot of the dialogue, and it also changes the names of some of the characters, basically more along the lines of how they would be translated straight from Japanese. Anyways, moving on. Bad news for Europeans who want Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor 2. In order for the European release to happen, they need 1,800 pre-orders.
That's not a lot.
It's not a lot, but at the same time, to actually require that level of pre-orders, I mean, to require pre-orders, just to require pre-orders,
sell the game at all.
Yeah, to require pre-orders in general. I mean, that just according to British-based publisher Ghostlight, which are working to bring the game for the region.
Idea. They can kickstart the European release of Devil Survivor 2.
Maybe, but
it works for other companies, right?
I guess. Anyways, British-based publisher Ghostlight are the ones that are working to bring the game over towards the European nations. But they said that to break even on Devil Survivor 2's manufacturing costs, they will need to reach a total of 1,800 pre-orders between the two options that are offered, and they are a standalone release of Devil Survivor 2 and the Devil Survivor bundle, which includes Devil Survivor 2 and Devil Survivor Overclocked for the 3DS, along with a £10 discount. So
honestly, this isn't that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a deal, but at the same time, I mean, that kind of hurts. I mean, that hurts for the Europeans. I mean,
it's saying
in order
if you want us to release this, you need to make sure we're going to at least break even.
Yeah, but at the same time, to require pre-orders, I mean, again, like what you said, try a Kickstarter or something.
Going sadly.
Yeah.
That's the sad point right there. I mean,
I understand.
I do hope that they
your position, Gamer Wolf. Don't be wrong. I'm just like, this seems like that's the way it's been going.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do.
As much as I would love to stop it, I'm almost powerless to.
Yeah. Anyway, hopefully, if you're in you're in any of the European areas that,
Basically,
Britain,
if you want this
whatever.
game, better pre-order it now.
Yeah, pre-order it. If you're in Europe or the UK, pre-order this if you want this to happen, and just spread word. Next up, it wasn't really announced, but it was sneakily slipped by. In the most casual AAA announcement ever. During Comic-Con 2013, GamerHub.tv interviewed Mortal Kombat Legacy producer Lance Slane about the series returning to the big screen with the upcoming Mortal Kombat Legacy movie. And when he was asked about the state of the project, Slane casually remarked, "And we've got a great director with Kevin Trancherowen, I think that's how you say his last name. Tankerowen, who is on board. It's just figuring out the business side of it and when we would do it and when we would do it and when we would launch it, and how do we sync up with the launch of the game that they're working on now. It's not 100% yet, but we're getting closer every day." So yeah, the producer of the upcoming Mortal Kombat movie has just leaked out that the next installment of Mortal Kombat is being worked on as we speak.
And it's going to time to release the movie.
Yep.
That's cool.
It can't be any worse than fucking Annihilation, so...
It's not going to be. I feel it. This one's going to be better. I mean, this is basically... They're taking the same route. If you've seen on YouTube the Mortal Kombat, the fan-made video series, I think it's by the same name, Mortal Kombat Legacy, those things are very well done. So I have high hopes for the movie. That it's going to actually be a damn good
I'm glad,
film.
though, from what this seems, it seems like the movie is being scheduled around the game rather than vice versa, which means we'll have a great game.
Yeah,
a pretty good movie since they'll have more time to do it.
Yeah, they most likely with the movie. I mean, what they're planning on doing is, the movie's going to be like one storyline, and maybe the game will just like flat out continue that same storyline, and it. With the way NetherRealm really knocked it out of the park with the reboot, I have also a good feeling about how the story is going to continue with in the game. I mean, with the games. So definitely looking forward to that. Next up, EA is finally given a time frame for when Star Wars Battlefront will be coming, and they said it's going to be happening in summer of 2015.
I'm going to let you guys take over since I don't actually care about Star Wars games.
Yeah. I mean, it's not much. It's just, EA DICE is behind this, but at the same time, this is not they're not rushing this. It's clearly showing that they're not planning on rushing this out.
It does kind of make me wonder, I doubt it, but I remember, seeing some of the concepts after, Battlefront 3 got scrapped, and, some of... Battlefront 3 was going to be, a lot of hypothetical stuff of, what if Obi-Wan Kenobi was, a Sith? All kinds of crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be awesome if they
What if
included
Han
some of that.
Solo shot first?
Oh, God. But, also the one of the reasons... Also, they've even given a reasoning a little bit of reasoning why they decided to go with summer of 2015, mainly because they want to release it alongside the new Star Wars films.
Oh shit! Hey, Game Freak.
Yeah, you're a bit late.
Yeah, we're wrapping. We're in the middle of the final stretch.
I'm sorry, guys. I actually fell asleep.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, actually, you just came in the right time because this was a story you said you were interested in. Next up, it looks like Tomb Raider the new generation Tomb Raider will be getting a sequel. It is confirmed by Square Enix that it will be happening.
I'm glad because I loved that game.
Now,
Yeah, it was a weird game.
Yeah.
Now, this is almost through. This announcement came almost 3 weeks after comic writer Gail Simone broke news that a sequel to Square Enix Tomb Raider reboot.
They made a comic to bridge between this.
Yeah, to make it. Yeah, they were working on he said he's working on a comic to basically move on with the storyline itself. But Square Enix CEO Phil Rogers came out and said that I'm excited to reveal that we are well into development on a next generation Tomb Raider sequel, something you may have heard about recently.
The PS4 and the Xbox One.
I am so glad about that. And PC.
Yeah, well, always PC. Always PC.
Despite how much of a failure it looked like in Square Enix's eyes, but fuck them.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I'm real glad about that. Seriously, I mean, I love Tomb Raider 1, the new remake, of course. I know some people hop on it once in a while about that. You know, like. I
only have a few complaints with the game. Like, for example, I hate Sam.
I mean, I've had some people hop about like how. I don't know how much Lara Croft cried a lot in that game and stuff.
Well, you know,
I mean, I know what they're saying, but the thing is, this is her first time being an adventurer, basically.
Yeah, this is this is not the Tomb Raider that you knew. This is completely
the death animations are really gruesome.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you screw up, you are going to get the shivers when you see what happens.
Probably the only thing for me about
it's the way she twitches as they fade to black, so you can restart the checkpoint.
Oh
it's so uncomfortably gruesome.
Aside from those, like the big things for me.
It's worse than saying Isaac Clarke getting his head ripped off and then it being replaced by a new
It's worse
head.
than having your face ripped off by a bloater in The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god. The thing that got me about that game was just, you know, some of the
ludonarrative dissonance.
Yeah, the ludocognitive dissonance of it.
Ludonarrative dissonance.
Yeah. Of, you know, she's this vulnerable person, and then end of the game, she's mass murderer. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
how did all those people get onto that small island anyway?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I think.
Anyway,
moving
on. We can't.
Yeah, we can't really stay on it. But I would like to know also, for those that are wondering about the comic version of it, Gail Simone. This person's got quite a track record because made Birds of Prey. Is the acclaimed writer of Birds of Prey, The Secret Six, Batgirl, Red Sonja, Deadpool, and Wonder Woman.
So if you want a writer who knows how to write women in comics, you get Gail Simone.
Yep. All right.
The Citizens Kane of comic books.
Pretty much. Next up, bad news for those that are looking forward to Wolfenstein: The New Order. It has been moved back to 2014. Yeah.
I don't know a whole lot of people that are actually excited about that game.
Machine Games and Bethesda said that working on next gen and current gen has definitely had an impact because you're developing for two different things. The fact that the next gen stuff is still moving is also definitely a factor. Explains that the game is trying to be a shooter that also has driving elements, story elements, narrative, stealth sections. Each one of those has to be excellent.
Did you just say driving elements?
Yes.
I'm hoping that the next Wolfenstein is not going to be a Call of Duty ripoff.
Yeah. It's not just like we're making a shooter where if the shooting is good, then all 16 hours of the game will be good because it's all we're doing. So, yeah. They have to pretty much push it back because they want to make sure they don't give a shitty product.
Have your vehicle and your turret sections and all that.
Honestly,
it could be really awesome.
Yeah,
I hope it is. I mean, the only time I'm trying to think of the last time.
I haven't seen anything that I'm impressed by about that game, though.
Well, if I try it, the only thing I really seriously pray for is the fact that if there are driving elements in there, they're done well. Because if they're shit, it ruins the game.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen anything out the news in that game that has said, that made me go, oh wow, that's impressive.
Well, hopefully in the
interesting.
years coming they might add something that's more impressive.
Yeah.
But, I think here.
Or even interesting, really.
Well, I'm interested about it, honestly. I mean, like, the Germans, pretty much, the Nazis actually took over our future, basically.
Yeah.
They've stolen it. So I'm curious how they did that. And I know some people are tired of World War II shit. I'm not.
World War
think
II
I
shit
missed it, actually.
It hasn't been around for the past 10 years.
No, it hasn't. Not since Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually glad it's back. Some of you may not be happy about it, but you know what? I don't
I'd
know.
rather that than Modern Warfare.
Yeah, honestly,
I honestly want.
Quite honestly, I'd rather this World War II over Modern Warfare at this point.
Yeah, same here. Same
Yeah.
Here. I mean, seriously. Oh god. I mean, so many people are so obsessed about Call of Duty these days. I actually miss them.
Well, I'd rather have futuristic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd rather have futurists Nazis.
Yeah.
Moving on.
All right. Next up,
Oh, okay.
2K is going to officially announce XCOM Enemy Within this month at Gamescom.
Shit.
Yep.
The big question is basically, is it a DLC or a brand new game?
True.
I was hoping you'd talk about them doing the next game.
Yeah, this could be a next game, or it could be just a big DLC pack for XCOM Enemy Unknown.
It's unknown. It's enemy unknown.
Either way, I'm excited.
Yeah. Given Fireaxe's game design and the way they do things, I'm imagining this is going to be more of an expansion than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I say this is because XCOM was extremely light on the story.
Yep.
So there's no reason to make a whole new game when you can just make an expansion to the already existing game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's got. Despite as cynical as I am, it's got to say something when it's like they just briefly mentioned that they were going to mention this, and already I'm like, shut up and take my money.
I like XCOM, so this already has my attention.
Yeah.
XCOM Enemy Unknown was a really solid game.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, we'll find out the answer to this on Wednesday, August 21st, right around when Gamescom 2013 will be starting. So.
But yeah, I thought you were going to talk about the expansion, the next,
The Bureau?
no, not the Bureau. I was hoping you would talk about Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, we already covered that.
Went over that, so we're done.
That was
Oh,
ages
I
ago.
missed that one.
Should have woken up.
Literally,
Alright.
you snooze, you lose. So, next one.
Alright, and our last story.
one.
Last story today. PS3 owners, you're gonna have a new free-to-play game, XCombat Infinity.
Not sure why it's free to play though.
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
what?
Yep.
I
it
don't
will-
know if I
yeah.
even care.
Yeah, XCombat Infinity will be free to play on PS3. It will be coming out later this year, and it will include a story campaign along with cooperative play. The things that you'll probably be paying for, however, will
You're
be
paying for something.
will most likely be planes and weapons for the for in-game, which unfortunately makes this kind of pay to win,
Eh.
especially when it comes along.
Unless you're playing for cosmetic parts.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, also it's the fact that this game will also have competitive multiplayer. So yeah, that's where I come at the whole pay-to-win aspect.
I'm hoping with the single player is something like the last Ace Combat game though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one that what was it called? Assault Horizon.
I can't remember.
I think that was it.
Joe reviewed.
It was Ace Combat, the last game that was called Ace Combat.
Yeah.
It's all called Ace Combat.
But yeah,
Actually, can I put my final words on Red Dead?
sure thing. Just
Quickly.
just re-saying that again, Ace Combat Infinity will be coming out later this year. So another free-to-play game for the PS3 when there's just damn. I mean, you already got the limit.
Free to play at this point.
Yeah.
That's a general concept. It was appealing. It's not anymore.
I don't know. I mean, at least have it on console-wise. I think that's still relatively fresh. I mean,
really.
PC. Well,
I mean, we got Blacklight, Planet.
well, I'm talking like just console. I'm not talking PC and console. Just console. I mean, console owners have not really had a lot of access to free-to-play stuff.
You know, I mean, for every tribe's ascend, there's like 9 other fucking World of Tanks out there.
Yeah.
You know, no offense to World of Tanks, just.
All right. Final words here. Go ahead, Game Freak.
I'm actually really glad that they're going to be making another Red Dead Redemption game. However, though, I am also so interested about what the storyline, the characters, and the timelines are going to be because there's actually a lot of timelines for cowboy history for the game to take place in. I mean, there's way back in the 1800s, and then there's the end of the 1900s, and then there's 1900s where that's when Red Dead Redemption was first in. But then there was also the time when there was Red Dead Revolver, which was the very first Red Dead game to ever exist, which was actually not a sandbox game, but was actually more of a third-person adventure game. So I'm actually wondering what's going to be the storyline. I'm actually curious who the characters are, and
Still probably more of a continuance in the Red Dead Redemption style of gameplay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this is not Red Dead Revolver. This is like Red Dead Redemption 2.
I know they're going to do Red Dead Redemption style. However, though, I'm getting a feeling that they're not going to call it Red Dead. They're not going to call it Red Dead Redemption. I mean, think about it. There's Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption. I don't think they're going to call it Red Dead Redemption 2. They might call it something like Red Dead Revenge. Or
Red Dead Revenge.
What was that?
Red Dead Revengeance.
Maybe that too. Who knows?
Yeah, you know.
So I'm curious what kind of setting they're going to have. I mean, like, I could see them with Civil War setting. I can see them with like maybe
John
train yard.
Did with Cyborg and
No.
sword and a talking robot wolf. And...
How about kick you in the head?
Oh god.
I can see something in that, like maybe on Hell on Wheels. If you guys ever seen that show.
Not really.
You gotta wrap this up.
Okay.
We're pretty much out of stories for this week. That is all for us. Any final words?
I hope next week has more interesting stories than this week did.
Yeah, this week was pretty weak.
Actually,
no pun intended.
I actually do have something. In the next few weeks, for those who have pledged to Chris Roberts' game Star Citizen.
Yeah, that game made $15 million.
Yeah, they made $15 million, which is a big step forward in the game.
So I don't think you have to. I don't think we have to keep advertising it. But yeah, it made $15 million.
No, I'm not advertising. But actually, I was going to announce that they're actually finally going to be. They're actually starting to lock down and are actually going to release the first expansion for the game for alpha testers to play the game. They're only going to do the hangar module, which allows players to look and fiddle with the plane. I mean, not plane. I'm going to say ships. They're going to make this module for players to fiddle with the ships, look at them, explore them, and stuff. And after that, though, hopefully next year they're going to be starting the combat, which is more like an arena mode for PvP events.
Nice.
So
we'll find out.
So yeah, this month they're going to be releasing the hangar module. So it's coming in the works, people. It's only been 1 year, people, and it's starting to finally get some progress done.
Yep. So alright, well that is it for us this week. And the only final word I can give is fuck you, Capcom. Just fuck you.
What did they do this time?
Well, you know.
Just watch when it goes back up. When it goes
up.
Okay.
Anyways, take care.
I have to go to bed, dude.
Yeah. Anyways, take care, everyone. We'll catch y'all next week. And again, fuck Capcom.
Night, everybody.